Good evening, my fellow Americans. Welcome back to another stream. Can you notice that I'm like tired with my voice? I'm so tired. Because now I gotta talk all day, and then I gotta talk even more when I do my reading session. And then I gotta talk to you people. So my throat is kinda done. I will be taking periodic breaks to take a sip of tea, and that's why I'm a little late. Okay. It's actually good. So, let's, didn't stream yesterday. Let's talk about what happened yesterday, Supreme Court tariffs, why market crash, and then today we'll be talking about huge news. Finally, we're getting some crazy stuff happening, crazy good stuff. Trump speaking at the World Economic Forum at Davos at, elite people, I don't know what to call them. Greenland deal got announced. We'll be talking about that and other stuff related to Bitcoin and crypto as well. So should be a good one. Bitcoin was very oversold on the RSI. Great opportunity for entry on spot. Did you enter? I did. On spot. I don't show it here. I don't show my holdings to anyone, especially on spot. Only on futures. This is just play money that I do and that I do live, whatever. So I did also try buying a little more during the dip yesterday. When was this? I don't even remember when I bought this. 20th of January. Yeah, it was yesterday. Good enough. I kind of wanted to buy more this morning, but I was expecting more of a drop because we were going to have these announcements from Trump. I wasn't expecting much to happen, but finally something happened. Something good happened. We have a trade deal that will finally allow us to have some parts of Greenland and also cancel the tariffs that were supposed to go live on February 1st toward our fellow Europeans. So that's good news for the market. We took that lightly. You'll see how much Bitcoin rose today. Not much. We're still at 90,000, practically 90,000 flat. My average entry on this thing is 91,751. I did a good bait on it, didn't I? Because I bought it a little bit, and then it went lower, bought it, went lower, and now's the time to go full throttle, dropping 1,000 in here, right here, right now. Dropping my average price now to 90,780. Wise decision? Probably. Do I expect a rise and a bounce up here? Probably as well. I don't expect Bitcoin to go lower than 86,000. Wouldn't make sense for it to do so. I get we're in a downtrend, but come on. There's still a lot of good stuff going on, right? It's just that we don't react in that way. Now, the trade deal got announced, which finally crashed some of the metals last I checked. And, I mean, it should benefit crypto if it's been affecting it, right? What goes up must come down, so it's only a matter of time before we start seeing a move in crypto. Although I feel like we're a little delayed, slowed. I don't know what the holdup is, but it should happen soon. And in the meantime, I gotta start getting into it because I'm not even fully in it myself. So even at these prices, I must get as much exposure as I can. No more selling until 100k. That is the plan. Enjoy it. Are we hitting, what was it, 65,000? No, we're not. Lowest 66,000, if that. And if we do even approach those levels, I'm getting liquidated at, what is it, 60,000? You're fine, dude. This is the safest trade I have ever entered into anything, not financial advice. So that is the plan for right now. 3x leverage on Bitcoin. Max long, not really, but you'll get there little by little, right? DCA into decent positions. Yesterday was a perfect opportunity, right? Prices were oversold, and that's when you should be taking advantage of that because the bounce is likely from there. We sort of got that this time around. Don't believe all the bull posters either on Twitter. Man, this Young Hoon Kim guy, I'm going to talk about him soon. I will also talk about Tom Lee, who's been making some wild predictions. These guys, man, they got to get off Twitter or whatever their platform is where they're announcing all these predictive moves. Remember he said, oh, Monday's going to be a great day. Bitcoin 100,000 tomorrow. And then we just crash oh, it's going to be a crazy great day. And then I'll show you what I'm talking about later. But this little bounce that we see over here, what the guy did was he went into the 5-minute chart and he only showed the rise from the bottom. And he's like, look, guys, you see, I was right with my 276 IQ. Okay, pal, whatever you say. So yeah, I don't know if we should be trusting those people at all. Not even anymore, just at all. Like, they're not in the right. So what do we have for Bitcoin? This uptrend is, I don't like how this looks like, right? Seems like it's, yeah, it's basically broken at this point. We should ignore it. Look for support. 86,000 is what I'm expecting. 4% drop on Bitcoin from here. I will be buying more, don't worry. Price is still on a downtrend, which invalidates at 95,000 currently, but I'm expecting that to come a little bit lower as well. Do I expect us to break to those levels this week? No, not this week. So what else are we getting? Next week we're getting the FOMC interest rate decision, right? That's the biggest thing. So we obviously know we're not getting a rate cut. Markets obviously don't like that, and we're probably going to stay shaky/low until that kind of passes and goes behind us. Are we out of the woods yet in that case? Probably not, because we are still, we still have Jerome Powell in power, even though the guy's getting criminally investigated or whatever it is. And then we're still expecting to maintain rates for the next 2 meetings after this as well. Our first interest rate cut expectation is actually after when Jerome Powell leaves. Powell leaves in May, or he steps down as Fed chair. He's not leaving. He's still going to be there. But we're going to replace him with Hassett probably. And the next meeting where Jerome Powell steps down, so the meeting in June, that's when we're expecting our first rate cut. Coincidence? I don't know. Is it the market's waiting for this guy Powell to leave? Maybe. But 78% chance we get our first rate cut in June. That means March, April, no rate cut, probably. We'll see. We'll see how the economic data goes. That's what's most important. What is wrong with my YouTube studio? We're fine. Okay. Why did the markets crash? I mean, I might as well talk about this. Yesterday, $1.3 trillion wiped out from the US stock market. NASDAQ and S&P 500 have erased all their 2026 gains and turned negative. Isn't that crazy? This happened because the US and European trade tensions were rising. Mainly, the big day was supposed to be today. The ultimate climax, the peak of whatever this trade tension was about to be. Japan's bond market is another thing. It's continuing to weaken. I guess that's a very background thing in my opinion. I don't put too much importance on it. The pension funds begin cutting exposure to US treasuries. Don't care. I'd say the main thing was the US and Europe trade tensions. Another thing is the Supreme Court tariffs. Like I said, the ruling was expected yesterday. We didn't get it. Nothing ever happens. It all just gets delayed. At this point, I don't even know when the next one is. I'm tired of asking AI, when is the next meeting? Or not meeting, but like the Supreme Court tariff ruling decision. Are we rich? Are we not going to be rich? Are we going to kill the investment in the United States? What is going to happen with that? So that's another thing that I've been trying to keep my eye on, but they just keep bouncing away from me. So whatever. US-EU trade tensions, that was all supposed to get settled today, and it was great. And that is why we kind of took a bit of a breather in the markets. So there's that. This is your little explanation as to why we dropped. Now, what actually happened with Bitcoin? It dropped to 87,215 was our lowest of today, actually. That's how much volatility there was. And look at this candlestick. What do you call this pattern? Clearly rejection toward the downside, so we should be staying up for the time being. I don't expect this to be like a downtrend breaking rise. I still expect us to be in a downtrend. The fact that we can rise to up to 95,000 is possible, but we should drop from there, or from here we should continue dropping. If we do continue dropping from here, the better, because I know it sounds counterintuitive, but hit me with all the pain you've got, liquidate all these max longers that are over leveraged, right? I'm also max long, but not over leveraged. There's a key difference there because I'm not a gambler. So get those guys out, hit our support level 86,000, super trend should drop much lower, and we could flip our trend much sooner, is kind of the way that I see things. And I know we do have this one to worry about. I'm hoping this is the one that we are able to break, this downtrend line, because otherwise we would have to be looking at this downtrend line, which is a lot quicker, so to speak. So depending on whatever move happens by end of this week, and PCE data can impact that, it will kind of determine which downtrend line we should be paying attention to. I don't know, I do kind of want to argue that this downtrend line is obviously more important. This is the weekly downtrend line, by the way. This downtrend line comes from our all-time high toward the highest that we hit on January 14, the high of 98,000 almost, 97,900. You get the point. Do you see my throat? It's tired now. I'm gonna die of like old age or something. We're fine. Okay, moving on. We're slightly on the rise right now. I love that. Okay, let's go to Ethereum. $3,033.50. We crashed below 3,000. That was disappointing, but expected. We hit a low of 2,864. Kind of using the support of 2,912 from pivot levels, but not really sustaining that much. Also putting the uptrend line in jeopardy, which was very disappointing. Look at this. Now what? Where do we draw the uptrend line from here? I was hoping that this was actually going to be a valid uptrend line draw, but, well, clearly not, right? Resistance is at 2,350, we'll call it, okay? I know it's on its way down little by little, but yeah. So what do we do with this uptrend line? I'm going to keep it drawn for now. Might have to just adjust it for this being the new low, or wherever our newest low point is. I'll have to draw it from there. What is this line here for? 2,500? Why do I have this here? Was I expecting that? I hope not. That's terrible. I'm going to delete that and pretend it never happened. Okay, moving on from Ethereum. We love it. I'm happy that it's above 3,000, but I don't expect it to stay here for too long. We already kind of poked our head below that, so expect lower movement is what I would say. Sad news. Solana also on its way down. Did you take profit? I didn't. I should have honestly reversed my positions. All these positions over here, I know everything is in the red, that's so funny. Even my short position, I can't win. Okay, I can't catch a break, but whatever. All these short positions, I could have just immediately reversed them at their peak. If only I knew. Right? No, but I kind of did know. As we were approaching these downtrend lines, I already kind of called for a downtrend to come soon, a correction on a lot of these. And I mean, this week just happened to be a very important one. Pretty much as important as last week, I'd say. But this one somehow gave it more impact. And obviously when the impact, you feel it more when it's toward the downside, right? So that's kind of what we experienced here. Solana is at $130.32. We dropped to a low of $124.58. Downtrend invalidates at 137. That's a steep decline, which I'm comfortable with. Yeah, I see like the support level could be really good for Solana at about 123, right? So that's a good level to pay attention to. And this downtrend line could be just a quick scenario where we are able to break out of it soon. And then we would also be able to break out of this downtrend line, which comes from... How far back are we going? Weekly. Not necessarily all-time high, but a very local top from September. Remember October 10 rally? Yeah, we're talking about those kinds of levels. September, October, that downtrend line, Solana is about to break it, which gives us room to rise to, at this point, near $190 or $200 if we are able to break out of that. I don't know how long it will take. It's going to take weeks though, so for us to confirm a breakout of this downtrend line is what I'm talking about. So important stuff for Solana soon, maybe. And I also have good news for Solana, but clearly it's not that good because it's not rising. Whatever. Sui, look at that. Dropped to a low of $1.43, and it kept this uptrend line intact. Hey, at least it's got that going for it. Still in a downtrend though, don't kid yourself. And this is the line that we see. We see a couple. From wicks only, that's kind of annoying, but I'd say this is the most important one, where we do see the super trend coinciding with it. At 168 is where that invalidates. Current price is 153 for Sui. Seems like we did find good support at this area, 143. I like that. A lot of these, by the way, all of them, really, every coin was at an oversold position at some point in its drop. Even Monero, look at that. I'll talk about Monero soon. Okay, I'll go back into order here. Hyperliquid, $22.13. It had a really impressive drop, honestly. $20.48. Why? This is new lows. Even lower than October 10. Yeah, really. Okay. Look at that. I was lucky I got out, huh? That's why stop losses are important. What are we thinking here? 2470. 2480. Seems to be resistance. 2470, we'll call it. $22.13 is the current price. Seems like we're kind of recovering on our way up, but don't... Like I said, we're still in a downtrend. So, I don't expect too much of a big movement yet. But if we do get one, it should approach us to whatever this downtrend line is, which we didn't approach it the first time. And I think I might have deleted the other downtrend line if there even was one. There should have been one over here. I don't know what happened with it. Let me redraw that. So we kind of had that happen already. That's why we lateralized a bit, but we didn't have enough strength to even rise close to $30, which that's sad for Hyperliquid, but okay. Instead, we dropped to 20. Potential great opportunity if you care about spot entry. There you go. Chainlink, here's more important stuff happening. This is the downtrend line that I was hoping that we would respect. We did, and that is excellent. This way, we can drop to wherever we have to drop to. We accumulate more strength. And when we do break whatever next downtrend line we have, it will coincide with this weekly one. Let me go zoom out a bit. This is a weekly, yeah, downtrend line. Okay. And that should open the door to a much bigger movement on Chainlink. How high? We're talking about weeks to months here, by the way. Breaking out of that will take us to... Dude, I don't know. $20. $20 Chainlink? That's pathetic. But whatever. That's what's required, at least to end the weekly charts, the super trend, to flip our trend back into the green, even though they don't seem to last that long, right? Still worth noting, so I'll keep my eyes peeled for that. Monero, let me go back to 4 hours. $530.20. Wasn't this thing worth 800? What happened? It seems like the hype is kind of gone for now. Okay, we're fine though. 4 hour... We're now in a downtrend line. We're in a downtrend, not a downtrend line. This is the downtrend line right over here. We could hypothetically rise to 640 and still be in a downtrend, so don't think that we're out of the woods yet in that sense. But we did find a really good support at 484. The lowest point was 480. So that's important to see for Monero. Keeping this uptrend line at least intact for the time being. So overall, I do expect good stuff to continue for Monero. After breaking, of course, whatever this downtrend line is, should be able to take us to at least 640 if you want to bet on a trade, a counter trend trade at that. Otherwise, you know, if you're patient with it, you would wait until 640, go short. I don't know if you really want to do that though with the privacy coin. The narrative is pretty hot, so... Yeah, it's going to be dangerous, but hey, no risk, no reward, so you decide. Uptrend line is gone for Aptos, that's confirmed. We're in a downtrend, that's also confirmed. 177 is where that invalidates. Current price is $1.56. We found a support at 150. I like that. I will draw a support line right here at 150. That's important. Potential good areas of accumulation. Hey, even if it's on spot, you kind of already know that Aptos will perform well, at least in the short term. I wouldn't really risk it in futures market, however, though. I feel like this music is so loud, but it's like at 1% volume, which is crazy, and it's still loud. The speakers are really good. I don't think the mic catches it, though, so great. That's what I think about Aptos is potential rise to 177, but still, you know, might lateralize here, honestly. 150 might keep it as a good support. I have high confidence in that. And then BitTensor says it's up 4%. Do you think this is up 4%? Sure. Still in a downtrend line and validates at 267. Current price is 247. We hit a low of 228. Okay, I guess we just gotta wait for this to do its rise. I was hoping we would be able to break 300. We kind of weren't able to. We kind of poked above it. I get that. Like, highest was 302, but no candle close above it. No continuous movement upward. Seems like the uptrend kind of died off right over there. So 300 will remain as a very important resistance level for the future. If we ever do approach it once again, I think we will. Absolutely. Just going to take some time. Okay. That's my opinion on the markets for tonight. Let's go ahead and get into the news. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. The Supreme Court, they decided to not issue a highly anticipated ruling on the legality of President Trump's tariffs today, which marks the third straight time the ruling was not released as expected. First time December, second time last week, third time now, yesterday. So when is it now? Do we know? It's like they're scared or something. What is going on? When will the decision be now? Just answer that question. Don't give me all the BS of the post. Why are we talking about Fed interest rate decisions? That's not what I'm talking about. When will the Supreme Court tariff ruling decision be? That sentence was structured so terribly, but okay, I think AI will understand. They did not issue a ruling on the legality yesterday, marking the third consecutive date. Yeah, you just repeated the post. When is it now, please? Is now entering a 4-week recess. Oh, how perfect. 4-week recess. No decision guaranteed for 4 weeks. And it will resume on February 23rd. Why does it say October? Don't say October. Okay, it includes February 2026 argument session starting then. Oh boy, so this is just going to continue. So now it is going to be Friday, February 20. Mark that in your calendars. Shortly after the recess ends in late February, early March. This is all just like way too perfect, isn't it? Too perfect for Trump. So he just keeps getting away with it. I mean, good for him. This also kind of had markets worried yesterday, believe it or not. This AI picture. I think it's AI. It is AI. Remember when all the European leaders came to visit the White House? This was for Ukraine talks, right? Trump kind of photoshopped this or AI this image over here of basically all of North America with the United States flag. This includes Greenland and Canada. Hey, soon, hopefully. Or yeah, you might as well just do this, right? The whole world, USA. Like, you're going to protect the whole world from the whole world. That's what we need. And obviously this comes in anticipation, kind of foreshadowing what would happen the day after that image was posted. So today, at the World Economic Forum at Davos, is that it? WEF, Davos, Savos, yes. World Economic Forum at Davos, right? Yeah. And Davos was in Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Switzerland. Okay, well, there we go. Getting fact-checked live here. But that's fine. So that's what happened. I'm going to go through everything that happened, so get ready. And if you don't want to pay attention, here's your spoiler alert, and this is all that really happened. In summary, the US economy, it's the fastest economic turnaround in history, says Trump. Inflation has been defeated, growth running far above the IMF projections, the International Monetary Fund. Energy and prices. Gasoline prices are expected to go below $2 per gallon. U.S. natural gas production is at an all-time high. Strong push into nuclear energy. For Europe, he said that they're going in the wrong direction. The green energy policies and mass migration have caused major damage. I agree. Greenland, he said that only that the U.S. can secure it. It's a part of North America. He's seeking immediate negotiations to acquire without the use of military force. In terms of NATO, Trump said that the U.S. gives far more than it receives. Hey, that's what the Bible says. Blessed are those who give. It is more blessed to give than to receive. Something like that. It's like boxing, right? More blessed to give than to receive. Anyway, I'll put my arms down. U.S. pays for NATO. He will support NATO 100%, but he questions the reciprocity. They don't really help the U.S. in any way, is kind of what he's saying. And he talked about the cryptos. Congress is working on crypto market structure. He hopes to sign the crypto bill soon. Crypto is politically popular and strategic against China. Is it really? I really don't think China is focused on crypto at this time. But yeah, did I have another post talking about it? I should have. Okay, well, I don't anymore. Congrats. So that's the summary of it, but we'll go into it in more detail. I'll just read through headlines because it's a lot. The stock market he talked about. He said that they've set 52 all-time highs since his election. Are we counting this like every day is one instance? Is that what we're talking about? So there were 52 days during his presidency where the stock market was at an all-time high. I think that's what he's talking about. And growth is expected to be high. He also commented on the Dow Jones, saying that it will double in price. It will hit 50,000 soon, and then it will hit 100,000 at a very short time. And he did comment on the $2,000 tariff stimulus check, that it is coming, with or without congressional approval. So it seems like, you remember when he announced it, awesome, and then a reporter asked him months later, hey, what about those tariffs? I mean, the tariff dividend check, is that still coming to Americans at $2,000? He's like, what? What's that? I don't remember announcing that. And then now his memory got refreshed, and now he's talking about it again. So it's like, okay, what are we doing? But that's fine. We love Trump. So there's that. He also says after 1 year, U.S. economy is booming with high growth and defeated inflation. The U.S. economy is the hottest in the world, growing double IMF projection thanks to my policies. It's all me. He said to the Europeans, perhaps you can do much better by following what we're doing because certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. Big true. I agree. About Venezuela, he said that they are about to get rich again. Trust me, bro. All right. On Greenland, he said that every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is that no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States, which I agree. Even NATO themselves can't defend Greenland from the United States. If an actual war was to, not war, but a battle was to break out for the US to acquire Greenland by use of military force, NATO would not be able to stop them. US will just easily solo all of those countries and take over Greenland by force. But we're not like that, are they? So, yeah, we found another way, which we'll get to. And you just look what he did to Venezuela, just easily capturing Maduro, I guess. He also said this, which is pretty funny. Without us, without the United States, right now, you guys would all be speaking German, and a little Japanese, perhaps, because of the World War II thing. Haha, get it? After the war, the World War II, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But how ungrateful are they now? Yeah, they're like gatekeeping. Speaking of this comment about you guys would all be speaking German if it wasn't for the United States helping you guys win World War II. You're in Switzerland. They speak German there. I know, crazy. What language do they speak in Switzerland? German, Romansh, French, and Italian. The most common is German at 62%. You'd all be speaking German. They are speaking German. Anyways, we still love Trump. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, he's referring to Greenland, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. Basically saying that, yeah, it does not belong to Europe, it belongs to North America and eventually the United States themselves. Why does Greenland belong to Denmark? And honestly, as a kid, even myself, I have asked myself that question. I'm like, when I was I liked looking at geography and maps and all this kind of stuff, the atlas, and then I noticed like Greenland seems so huge, and then I'm like, wait, why does it belong to Denmark? And Denmark is this tiny, tiny country in the middle of some place Europe. Why do they get ownership over that? Why doesn't it belong to, I believed in Canada at that point. Why doesn't it belong to Canada? It just looks like another Nunavut, right? Another territory that could be added here easily. But I'm like, whatever. I also wondered the same thing about like Alaska. Alaska looks like it belongs to Canada, but well, okay. I guess it belongs to the United States. I looked it up or asked one of my teachers, I think. She's like, yeah, no, the United States bought it from Canada or something. What happened? Did USA buy Alaska from Canada? Surely that happened, right? Okay, well, I'm wrong. There we go. Or my teacher lied to me then. The US purchased Alaska from the Russian Empire. How did it belong to Russia? It's literally in Canada. Okay, pal. All right. So Canada is just completely inferior to quite literally everyone in the world is what it seems like. That's just marvelous. We lost Greenland to Denmark. We lost Alaska to Russia/United States. Awesome. I actually remember now. Yeah, it was Russia that they bought it from. How could I forget? So Trump has been pushing on NATO. Hey, guys, step it up. And what else do we got? 5 things that actually mattered. The takeaway. He is able to rule out the use of military force to take over Greenland without guns. The mystery framework deal also with NATO. The tariff threats are also cancelled. The 10% tariffs on the European allies scheduled for February 1st, they're finally off the table. And this is part of the reason why markets were surging today. As soon as that got announced, everything kind of recovered. Europe got completely roasted. They had an earful from Trump. They took an earful. And tariffs as Trump's hammer, he made clear tariffs are his go-to weapon. Without tariffs, I wouldn't have been able to get it done, which is true, and this is why tariffs are good. Look at that. We're already getting deals done already. Yes, it sucks. Yes, you get the headline. Yes, markets crash because of the headline. But ultimately, it is for the benefit of the United States, and that is the benefit for you at the end of the day, right? We benefit from the United States taking over Greenland, I think. I don't think I'm done here. Let me go back. What else do we got? NATO releases a statement following Trump's concept of a deal announcement on Greenland. The NATO Secretary, General Mark Rutte, had a very productive meeting with Trump, where they discussed the strategic importance of Arctic security to all allies. The message was negotiations between Denmark, Greenland, and the US will move forward with the goal of ensuring Russia and China never gain a foothold in Greenland, economically or militarily. This comes right after Trump told Davos he won't use force to acquire Greenland, but made clear that the US needs it for global security. So NATO is not pushing back against this, and they're aligning with it. That's good. The framing has shifted from Trump wants Greenland to the West needs to keep adversaries out of the Arctic. Finally, they understand. Diplomacy in motion. Great. What else do we got? Trump's Greenland deal will give the U.S. sovereignty over strategic land for military bases. This is part of the deal here. I'm going to repeat myself a couple times, I think, because I did have other articles pulled up with the actual details, but I'm just going backwards with this. So, whatever. Okay, it says the deal being discussed. NATO confirmed negotiations between Denmark, Greenland, and the US will move forward with one clear objective. It's literally the same thing that I mentioned. Okay, that's all there really is to this. Let's move on. Trump on Greenland and his conversation. We formed the framework. Okay, great. Trump cancels the tariffs on the European Union after it agrees to the framework for a deal on Greenland. He posted this on Truth Social. Based upon a very productive meeting that I have had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework for a future deal with respect to Greenland, and in fact the entire Arctic region. The solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled. And additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be made available as discussions progress. J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, and various others will be responsible for the negotiations, and they report directly to me. Thank you. There's the thank you for your attention to this matter. Literally the Trump tariff playbook, which we talked about. Markets are ripping upon this news. 1%, a whole whopping 1%. That's marvelous. I'm sure this is on the S&P, yeah. So, Kalshi, also the prediction markets, they give a 41% chance that Trump actually buys a part of Greenland before 2029. That is such a big window. It's guaranteed. Okay. And that's all there is for this. So, the Greenland deal will be similar to the UK-Cyprus agreement. So here's what's going to happen. The US will have small pockets of land inside Greenland. The US will be involved in Greenland's mineral rights. We want those. Russia and China will not step in at any cost. The Golden Dome system will be installed. What is it? Is this even a word? Installated? It's not even a real word. Caught you. Opens the door to US-backed infrastructure investment. Big if true. And here's the odds on Polymarket also rising. 55% chance US acquires part of Greenland before 2026. Lovely. Gold and silver, finally. Well-deserved drop, finally. They fall sharply as President Trump announces he's no longer imposing new 10% tariffs on the European Union. Because they've been rising so much, too much. And I bet they still haven't even fallen that hard enough. They usually like zoom in heavily on these charts. It's not even that big of a drop, honestly. Gold is almost 5,000 still. 4,888 was its highest. Here's the big drop that you're seeing. It's not that big of a drop. We're still at 4,786 on gold. It's fine. They're fine. We don't got to worry about them. The Central Bank of Iran. They have purchased over $500 million in USDT to support their local currency and facilitate trade. Hey, how cool is that? J.D. Vance announces his wife, Usha Vance, is pregnant with a fourth child. Here we go. They all... Okay, I'm just not going to comment on this. This guy's going to be the president, by the way. Not this guy. J.D. Vance I'm talking about. But anyway. Tom Lee, he's got to get banned off Twitter or something. He says that Bitcoin will hit $180,000 by January 31st. That is in 10 days, and that is a little bit too bullish. Way too bullish, actually. And I wanted to also, while I'm on the subject of these guys, Kim Jong-un Kim, he's been doing this. Oh, I'm such a good trader. Look at this, guys. I'm happy he didn't delete any of his posts, at least, so we can clown on him for free. We talked about these ones on Monday, I believe. Anyone can be a millionaire with XRP if you're a billionaire. Monday's about to be insane. Monday was pretty insane, in my opinion. The huge red drop. Monday, I will prove. He's showing all these green candles. This was Monday. All this was Monday. All right, thank you. 276 IQ, by the way. Bull run started next 11 hours. He posted this on January 19. Next 11 hours. January 20, we spent the whole day crashing. What are you talking about? January 19, he says, bottom confirmed, we move up. We still kept dropping in January 20, like I said. January 20, he says, buy today. Okay, sure. Broken clock is right twice a day. And, well, Yeah, sure. If you did buy yesterday, you're probably kind of in the green right now. Even Jim Cramer, because he's just so wrong all the time, he finally got one thing right as well. Jim Cramer also said, yeah, let's buy today. And, well, he was right. For once, inverse Cramer didn't actually work. Something huge is coming. Next move just started. I told you, as predicted. Here's his charts, by the way. The guy's in a 5-minute chart, looking at 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. kind of rise. He's literally looking at this area right over here. And then ultimately it kind of flatlined to where it is right now. So this is just selective. It's very selective. Signal confirmed. What signal? Prediction confirmed. Yeah, no, that's... You started saying, let's start buying at around 92,000, and then we're at 90,000. He's like, look, guys, I was correct. We rose. Okay, pal. As predicted, Trump canceled EU tariffs, and the bull market is back. You didn't predict that Trump would cancel the EU tariffs. But okay, bull market is back? No, we've been in a bear market since October, November. Signal confirmed reposting. Why? Prediction. Okay, you stop reposting now. You're just farming engagement. Engagement farming. Hey, I think this guy makes money off of Twitter. I think this is his whole thing. Oh, and he also has his meme coin. Don't forget that. Lamb276. The lamb being something, some symbolic meaning that he's pure and innocent or something. And then the 276. I actually forget what the lamb is for. He talked about it before, but I really don't care. Okay, so there's Young Hoon Kim for you guys. And Jim Cramer, we might as well talk about Jim Cramer, since we're talking about terrible predictions. He was actually right for once, I think. Jim Cramer finally made an accurate prediction. He said, get ready for a bad market open. That was the bad prediction. I mean, the good prediction. And he also said on January 20 to buy today. Same as Young Hoon Kim. January 20, if you bought that day, you likely bought the bottom, and... I mean, if you want to call this a recovery, sure. I'm sure stocks recovered a lot better than what crypto is looking like. So there you go. We love to see it. Okay, let's move on to actually important news. So MicroStrategy purchased more Bitcoin, 22,000 Bitcoin for an aggregate price of 2.13 billion. Just give me the numbers. Why do you got to do that? Strategy. It's either Strategy posts it or... Michael Saylor posts it. Here it is. 22,000 Bitcoins. Hey, that's pretty good. $2.13 billion. That's the number that I like to see. I like to see purchases in the billions coming from a company like MicroStrategy. But, I mean, why are they so perfect at buying the exact top? They bought it at 95,284. How high did we go with Bitcoin? Okay, we went to 98 almost, sure, but 95? Come on. They bought over here. How did you not know that we were going to have a downtrend the next day? Anyway, whatever. We buy 22,000 Bitcoins and we crash 9%. That's marvelous. They now have, oh my gosh, that's a lot now, 709,715 Bitcoins. And their average price is almost 76,000. Okay, not bad. Happy for Michael Saylor. But I'm not happy for his Ryan Cohen. What are you doing? CEO of GameStop here, who used to be, remember he was like bull posting on Bitcoin and being friends with Michael Saylor and, you know, taking photos with Michael Saylor. It looked like Michael Saylor had this guy like ready to just dump his whole company, GameStop, into buying Bitcoin. This whole talks of, oh, GameStop, they've got like, what is it, $8 billion of cash on hand. And they're going to buy a lot of Bitcoin with that. What is the numbers now? They still have 8 billion. Well, these numbers are from October 30. Still, $8 billion. You know what they did? You know what GameStop did? They had a fundraiser. They raised $1 billion. And then they used 500 million to buy Bitcoin. That's it. First of all, you have 8 billion just doing nothing. Okay. You raised $1 billion to buy Bitcoin. You only bought 500 million of it. I think that's what the numbers were. And now, They prepare to sell 2,396 bitcoins, which how much money is that? 2,396 times the price of Bitcoin is 90,000, let's just say. Let's just say like half of the 500 million, 215 or 250 million. So half of it is already going to be sold. They only made a $500 million buy in May of 2025. And they took so long to do it too. So the hype kind of died down. I don't know what's going on with Ryan Cohen. He unfollowed Michael Saylor, deleted all those bull posts. He used to only be following like 1 or 2 accounts. And then now he's only following 1 account, which is just GameStop official page, and that's it. Ryan Cohen. What is that? Okay. This is the guy. Following 1 guy. You're not famous. You're not mysterious, okay? You're pathetic. But all right. He used to be following Michael Saylor too, or it was either Strategy, the company. I don't remember, but he's unfollowed them, and well, there you go. Seems like he doesn't care about Bitcoin no more. Thank you, Ryan Cohen. Probably part of the reason also why we were crashing yesterday, apart from all the macro stuff, is the fact that, oh no, GameStop will no longer be including Bitcoin in its portfolio. They still got half of what they had. It's 200 million, 250, 275 million, whatever it is. So there's that. Big L for Netherlands. They will be taxing unrealized Bitcoin gains. What, did you elect Kamala Harris? Why are you doing this? Kamala Harris actually proposed this, by the way. God, thank you for not making her president, dude. We would have all been dead. Taxing unrealized gains, dude. You got to be out of your mind. So Netherlands, they're moving toward taxing unrealized capital gains on Bitcoin, stocks, bonds, and other assets. Okay, they had me the first half here. I thought it said only on Bitcoin, but then I read the next line, the stocks, bonds, and other assets. The parliament voted to overhaul annual income tax filings, whatever that means. Under the new system, investors will owe tax each year based on changes in asset value, even if nothing has been sold. That is what taxing unrealized gains means, by the way. So what my unrealized gain is right now, I'm in the negative, which government should be paying me, but no, that's not how it works. It's my risk, their profit, right? So whatever. It's fine though. We work for the government and that's fine. The reform, known as Wetwerkelijk Rendement Box 3. What is this? Okay. They're scheduled for 2028 and will tax actual returns by measuring the difference between an asset's value at the start and the end of the year, plus any income received. Dude, that is crazy. You're not allowed to hold Bitcoin anymore, because usually you would get taxed on your Bitcoin if you sell it. Here you, just by holding Bitcoin, you're going to have to pay a tax on it if you're in a gain, and most people usually do have gains with Bitcoin. Obviously nobody would, or else nobody would hold it. Whatever. Both realized and unrealized gains will be taxed. Big L for Netherlands once again. Critics warn that the shift could create serious liquidity problems, forcing investors to pay taxes on paper gains without having cashed out. That's true, because imagine if like you hold an asset at a good price, beginning of the year, okay, great. End of the year, asset skyrockets, and you owe so much in taxes now because it's a percentage of that huge gain that you just made, but you didn't sell. So you have to pay that tax because it's tax. And then what happens, I don't know, 1 month later, that asset crashes, you never got to sell, and you just ended up paying a huge amount of tax for quite literally no reason. That's the beauty of unrealized taxes, but the danger of not unrealized taxes, sorry. That's the beauty of the unrealized gains, is that nothing exists until you sell it, right? Your loss doesn't exist until you sell it, or you force sell it by getting liquidated or whatever in the negative sense. Or if you make a profit with it, you get to decide how much profit you make on an asset by, putting any take profit or deciding where you exit in your position without having to worry about all the change, all the volatility in between. But now there's that, you will get taxed on it regardless. So I don't know. I would run away if I was in the Netherlands. My VPN is for Netherlands, by the way, which is so funny. You see it right here. Trending in Netherlands. Sports, politics, Justin Sun. Why is Justin Sun trending in Netherlands? What is Norderlicht? Okay. I'm just gonna stop. Critics, I said that already. Hey, Greg Crypto. 40 minutes behind, you started watching now. No problem, man. Oh, Bradley's here too. Yeah, can I just restart? Yeah, let me restart everything for you guys. If you're just tuning in, let me just restart the whole stream. I'll go for another hour with my destroyed throat over here. No, I'm kidding, of course. You can always watch a replay. You'll be fine. It's okay, we're not actually covering like a very important news event live. I mean, the stream is important, but like, it's not like I'm watching, I don't know, a Trump speech happening live right now. That does happen sometimes, but no, we're just covering other news that has happened so far. So yeah, hey, feel free to watch, you're good. Okay, what do we got here? Solana, this is the big news for Solana that I was talking about, and Solana is just having an absolutely great day, as you can probably tell. We are down. So, Ondo announced that hundreds of RWAs just went live on Solana. I really want to know how, and also I like the way they formatted this list from like shortest word to longest word. It looks very pretty if you scroll up and down. Anyways, I'm going to stop glazing. So I'm not going to read all these companies because I'd be sitting here for hours, but a lot of these and 150 more companies have gone tokenized, which I was just talking about this with a couple of friends not too long ago, yesterday. And, you know, we were saying, oh, so like you can invest in just anything ever? And I'm like, well, almost anything ever, because there's some companies that you can't invest in that are not, because they're not publicly traded companies. I don't know, like for now it's SpaceX, Discord. What other companies were there? I had them written down somewhere. Where's my phone? Here. Am I really going to look this up now? The companies that we're getting IPOs for this year, I remember looking at a video for that. Let me find it. Am I even going to find it? How far down do I have to scroll through my saved stuff? I have so much garbage saved. They're funny memes though. I look back and laugh out loud. OpenAI, off the top of my head. Is it this? It's not this. I don't think I'm going to find this live. It'll be a miracle if I do. Yeah, I'm probably not going to find it. Okay, I'll just look it up then, right? What is this? Oh, Palantir Evil. Yeah, okay, I'm not watching that. Okay, I'll look it up. What big companies will IPO this year? So, okay, I'm sucking at keep typing on my keyboard now because I turned off the backlight on it. It used to have this red backlight that glowed across. So I turned it off and I only have it like as a responsive thing. So every time I hit a key on my keyboard, that's when it lights up. And it's dark in my room and I can't see my keyboard. So I have to guess where the keys are. I'm using my muscle memory here. And yeah, IPO listings. Yeah, but we don't care about these. Come on. I looked for big companies. What are the best upcoming IPOs? Here we go. Just give me this. Please do not ask me to sign up for your newsletter. You're asking me about my privacy. Okay. Asia? No. US. Here we go. Intel? What? That's not real. Discord, as I mentioned. That's it. Klarna, I think, is already a thing. Fake. Intel is also already a thing. What are we talking about? In 2023? How outdated is this? Okay. Okay, hold on. 2026? It's like this thing just doesn't... Here we go. No. US. Okay, I'm just gonna take this to AI because Google is too stupid. Grok. I said went IPO? Okay, that's on me then. Hold on. Which companies will... What? What? It just changed my whole question on... Look at this. I have it off screen, that's why. I pasted this and it said which companies went IPO in 2024. I never typed that. I literally clicked paste and enter. It's like it autofilled something random. Okay, what big US companies will IPO this year, 2026? I don't know why my thing is still in Spanish. Whatever. Here we go. SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic, that was the other one. Kraken is the other one. BitGo, I haven't heard of. Equipment Share. Others were also talked about, like Canva, that's an important one too. Discord, as I mentioned. And yeah. That's what, and Stripe. Stripe is another one I think I've heard of. So yeah, Stripe is for payments. That's good. We've got a lot of good potential IPOs this year. So some of these are already existing and they're private companies, obviously. You can't trade them in the publicly traded New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, whatever the case is. However, you can with tokenized stocks, and that is the point that I was getting at. I don't know why I took so long to explain that. I got so sidetracked. I'm sorry. But yeah. How do I get this? Tell me. How do I trade tokenized stocks through Ondo on Solana? Tell me. Where do I go? What do I do? Yeah, I know that they're not direct ownership. That's also part of the reason why tokenized stocks on private companies works so well, because you can't own the company either way because it's private. So having actual shares exist for it, it doesn't make sense, obviously. And what makes the most sense is just basing it off of your own speculation with other traders, of course. And that's what drives the actual value of, not the actual value, but like the value, it's what the speculative value of the traders, what they determine the market price to be for a private stock, right? What do we got? So you can do DEX aggregators, like what, Jupiter? Yes. What about Meteora? Okay. Other Solana wallets. Yeah, here's Meteora, Radium, Orca. I never heard of Orca. Don't want to do that. Okay, so you got to use it with decentralized exchanges on Solana is what it seems like. That's boring. I have to open a Jupiter account. Okay, fine. Yep, that's the way. Lovely. I want to talk about Keeta over here. I've discussed Keeta a little bit before. High risk, high reward kind of deal here. 1 million transactions per second, by the way. Big if true. I wonder if that's still a thing. I had a chain spect for Keeta over here before. This would honestly like kill any other blockchain in existence, right? If we look for max in theory, here it is, the testnet. Oh, it's 10 million. Okay, my bad, big guy. It wasn't 1 million. It's 10 million transactions per second. That's like having a highway with 10 million lanes in one direction. So it's like maybe overkill. But I mean, you would expect fees to be ultra cheap or basically none. And you would expect payments to be lightning fast or close to that at least. So their testnet, according to this, that's what it says. The mainnet I don't think is live yet. That's why it says 0. No, max. Real time. Okay, it seems like it does exist. So what is this now? Keeta Network themselves, they will be acquiring a bank with 35 million Keeta tokens, which is worth $9 million, allocated from its strategic reserves to support the effort. They posted this over here. I will be talking about the thread about everything we need to know. They're on pace to go down in history as the first crypto project to hold a bank charter. Okay. Tai Shank, the founder and CEO of Keeta, shared some insight on the acquisition in a series of questions asked by the community. Okay, I'm not reading all that. Why owning a bank matters? The main thing ultimately is when you want to interact with the institutions, they typically want to see you as an equal, in particular from a compliance perspective. So having you know our own institution on the network that is integrated at its core, that's leveraging the ledger, the public ledger at its core. What am I even reading? I'm having a stroke. Whatever, forget that. What is the plan? Oh, it's literally like a podcast format. I guess you have to like actually listen to this. Like actually listen. As a consumer, what benefits do you get for opening a Keeta bank account? Main benefit: the instant user experience when you move your assets. It doesn't matter what asset you're working with. That's what I also agree with. The instantaneous nature of having this 10 million lane highway like I talked about. Will the allocated tokens ever see the open market? So the 35 million tokens, $9 million. He says that that's different. It's separate. Because that could be very inflationary bad, but whatever. How is the acquisition funded? Oh, we can't tell you. Suspicious. Money laundering. How many customers of the bank have currently and continued support for them? Dude, I'm having a stroke reading all this. Will users from different countries be able to open accounts? Yes. Okay, that's cool. Good. Global banking revolutionized. Is this part of the approach linked to issuing cards for Keeta? Nice. You can get cards. Yeah, he says. Rough timelines. It's a lengthy process. So no date in mind. Does this help Keeta pay? We don't know. Nice. How difficult would it be to okay, how long is this? This is too long. Does this mean no more bank partners? No. We will continue partnerships with banks. And the mainnet integration for the bank, this is it. So we'll need to do bank-specific integration, but it should be relatively minor. We believe that the current mainnet deployment is well prepared for that. So the way anchors work, the way everything works on mainnet, that is generally how the bank will operate. Okay, that made no sense, but what I understand is it's easy to implement the function of whatever this bank's services is and into the Keeta mainnet that already exists. Lovely. I want to finish off by talking about Canada. We love Canada. We live in it. Doug Ford, our premier, our favorite premier, calls for a Canada-wide boycott of the Chinese EVs. Let's go. We're finally countering Mark Carney's little gig. Was asked by a reporter, are you officially asking Canadians to boycott any of the 49,000 Chinese-made EVs? He's like, yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. Boycott the Chinese EV vehicles. Electric vehicles. Yes, lovely. Did he actually say that? That's pathetic, man. Fix your English. It's okay, my English is no better. I'm stuttering with every sentence that I have on the stream so far, so I'm not doing any better. I'm like tired of talking all day, and this is going to be a daily thing, so enjoy my suffering while I enjoy a tea. So for context, if you don't understand any of this, Doug Ford is conservative, Mark Carney's liberal, Pierre Poilievre is also conservative, supposed to be the prime minister, but Doug Ford kind of abandoned support for Pierre Poilievre and instead kind of indirectly, let's say, was supportive of Mark Carney. And yeah, there was other factors as well that played into the election of Mark Carney winning, mainly Trump. And Mark Carney ultimately won the election. And they were like best buddies here. This Premier of Ontario, conservative, and the Prime Minister of Canada, liberal, different parties, suddenly being buddies. And it's like, oh, I don't know if we can trust that. Well, you got backstabbed now. Now that China and Canada are having this amazing deal that we all asked for, because screw the United States, our biggest trading partner, but whatever. Yeah, now we're doing this whole bringing in electric vehicles. Bradley, tell me what you think about these electric vehicles, please. I need your opinion. So like this, it's now going to cause a lot of competition because Ontario apparently produces a lot of vehicles, and now we're bringing in competition from a foreign country, and that's kind of what we don't want. We see how Chinese electric vehicles are bad. They burn up. Maybe burning up is nice in the winter, you know, you stay nice and cozy. But ideally, you don't want your car to go up in flames, right? The batteries even have this like emergency ejector thing, which I guess is fine, but why have it in the first place? Why would the battery need to burn up in the first place? Something's wrong there. And really, will these vehicles be able to withstand a good winter? I don't know. So anyways, now we're he's been like, no, Mark Carney, don't do this. You will ruin the competition here. And then Mark Carney didn't care. He went to the World Economic Forum. And so, yeah, Doug Ford is like, okay, well, we're boycotting all this stuff. Screw you. Nobody buy this, please, is what he is saying. And in Toronto, we also have a gun buyback program from Mark Carney. Let's go. But the based Toronto police officers, Rare Toronto Police W, decided to refuse to help with the gun buyback program. I do believe in First Amendment rights. Is it First Amendment rights? I'm going to embarrass myself live again. The right to own a gun, okay, to protect your property, because people are crazy and you can't always rely on cops. And I don't know. Obviously, the world would be better with no guns at all, but unfortunately, whether you like it or not, a criminal is going to have a gun, whether that's legally or illegally. And a gun is a gun, and you're going to die. So you're going to have to find a way to defend yourself. And what best way to defend yourself from a gun with an attack helicopter? That's what you need. No, but I'm kidding. Obviously, another gun. Toronto Police Association replied to this saying that we support the decision of the Toronto Police not to participate in the program. With no viable plan presented by the federal government, it makes no sense why we would allocate our limited resources toward this misguided attempt at public safety. Huge. Same deal with what they did in Australia, which I disagree with. Instead of like tightening down on immigration and, you know, I'm talking about like when those Muslims killed the Jews on Bondi Beach. Remember that shooting? Those two ISIS members on Hanukkah Day, it was in Australia. They shot and killed a lot of Jewish people. Then what did the Australian government do? Okay, we're tightening gun laws and no anti-Semitism. That was the response. And it's like, okay, buddy, come on. First of all, you got to focus on the immigration. Why did you have two people from ISIS in there? And I mean, the gun laws, nobody's going to respect them. Not even the criminals. Hate to break it to you. So yeah, all right, whatever. Toronto Police, back to them. They say that our members are dedicated to making an actual difference in our streets by targeting illegal firearms and partnering with other law enforcement agencies to tackle the smuggling of guns and illicit drugs across our borders. Our position has been clear from the beginning. Money spent on the buyback program should be directed to police services across the country. Yes, give that money to cops instead, rather than on a bureaucratic program with no tangible evidence of success. Based. I like this. Huge W for the Toronto Police. So there we go. Lovely. What else did I want to talk about? Tomorrow. GDP data. Bright and early. I have to start work at 8 tomorrow now. Well, forever now. It used to be 9, now it's 8. The schedule's all over the place, but hey, we love unpredictability, spontaneous, whatever. We're getting PCE data, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Watch out for that. Jobless claims, sure. It's not that it will really impact the odds of us getting a rate cut. That's going to stay stuck at 95%, so don't expect any big changes here. Okay. Drop to 86,000 so I can dump a couple thousand on Bitcoin. Please and thank you. All right. That is all for the stream for tonight. Went through a lot, I know. And I didn't even have that many tabs open, honestly. A lot of it was just the World Economic Forum Davos thing. So, big win for Trump as well with acquiring the important stuff from Greenland. We're getting their rare earth minerals, and we get to put our golden dome over there. So, that's going to be fantastic. Okay, and yeah. We'll see what happens with the Supreme Court tariffs. We just keep on delaying it. At this point, I'm just going to pretend it doesn't even exist. February 20, did I say? Yeah, we're just going to do nothing on that day. Like, yeah. Because they just keep delaying it every time. So, I've lost trust in it at this point. What are you going to do? The market structure bill, though, I don't even remember if I mentioned this clearly enough. Trump actually said he is optimistic, enthusiastic. He can't wait to sign that crypto market structure bill to make America, the crypto capital of the world. So yeah, he did mention crypto at the speech, the World Economic Forum Davos thing. So that was great. I'm happy. I mean, today ultimately is a green day. It's better than yesterday was, but we're not out of the woods yet. We're still in a downtrend, so I'd still exercise caution at these stages. If you're in Bitcoin, just continue to DCA. That's all we really got to do. Okay, that is all, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe. See you tomorrow.